Where am I audible to you?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, please put on your camera. Okay, so in this last class, we were doing this lesson, linear equations. We've almost completed the lesson. Only a few questions were left. We've completed all of them in the last class.
We got our maths marks.
Yeah, we did all of them.
No, ma'am, we got our maths marks.
Which were left? So in 3.3, I made you practice all of these questions. Which one was left according to them?
No, I'm saying I got my maths marks.
Can you please repeat again?
I got my maths marks, ma'am.
Okay, you got your math marks. So what? How many you scored?
It's 34 out of 40.
34 out of 40.
Yeah.
Okay, so where did you lose 6 marks?
It was silly mistakes. I did wrong in the plus and minus. I just shifted things and the whole thing got wrong.
Okay, so may I know
The
these
same
kinds of.
mistake in both the equations. That's
So
why 3 marks, 6 marks got even.
okay, so ma'am did not, your teacher did not give you any step marking for that?
No, it was 0.
Oh, just zero only. So ma'am, now you need to avoid these kinds of mistakes because see, if you even if you're making a very small mistake, the teacher won't give you any mark. They're not even giving you step marking. No problem. Now in your next exam, you do well. Fine.
Okay, ma'am.
So we come to this. Now linear equations, we completed the lesson. We've done all the questions. So please do one thing, Umair. Just open your textbook and go through the entire lesson once and tell me that is there anything that you have a doubt in or anything that you did not understand. Because then only I'll be able to move ahead with the next lesson. Just go through the all exercises and example questions once. Okay. So that we can start ahead with the next lesson.
Ma'am, we can start that lesson.
You can start with the next lesson now, Umair.
Yes.
Did you go through all the questions once?
No, I did all the questions for the exams. I did at
Okay.
home.
Okay, that's good. So now for your next lesson, see what all have we completed now. We did polynomials is completed.
We were in statistics, middle.
We left statistics in middle, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Real numbers is done. Then triangles completed. Statistics we left in the middle. Then we came to this linear equations. Okay, so we'll complete. We complete statistics. So we were on 13.1. So in 13.1, I gave you first and second question to do. You've completed first and second question. I gave them as your homework. I guess we discussed them as well. So first and second question are done. I also gave you fourth question as your homework. Please just check your notebook and once tell me have you completed these questions or not. From the first exercise, how many questions have you completed? So that then we can start ahead with the next thing.
Question number 1 and 2 only.
Question number 1 and 2 you've done.
Yeah.
Okay. I also posted fourth and fifth question, I remember. I remember posting fourth question on the portal because it's also of the same type. So, see, fourth question I'll not discuss in the class right now because it's a similar type of question. So, this will remain your homework. In the class, I want to discuss now different type of questions. Just look at the fourth question once and tell me, will you be able to do it as your homework or do you want a revision of the concept?
We'll do a revision of the concept.
Okay, so what we were studying, we studied three types of methods to find mean. Right? What is the three types of method? I'll show you the table. So first method used to be the direct mean method. So what is the direct mean method? We used to calculate xi, fi values. What is xi? Xi is basically the middle term value, right? So if you have a grouped frequency, then xi refers to the middle value. But if you have an ungrouped frequency, for example, just directly the number is given to you. Like in this case, here xi is directly this like 10 itself, the mass itself is the x value, right? And frequency is also directly given to you. But this is an ungrouped frequency. But you might also have a grouped frequency distribution. So this is a group frequency distribution. Like from 10 to 25, how many children are there? So here you have to find x. What is x? Basically the class mark you have to find out. How do you find the class mark? You find the middle value for the class interval. Like 25 plus 10 divided by 2. You find the middle value for this, the middle value of this. So you find all the middle values. That gives you the class mark. Then you have fi, that is the frequency. You multiply them, you get a value which is fi xi. Right. And then what was the first method? Direct mean method. So formula for direct mean method was what was this sign? Can you tell me? What was this sign for?
Addition of all.
Summation. That means you have to add all the values. So summation of fi xi divided by summation of fi shall give you, and then you can calculate your answer. So this was the direct mean method. You're just directly calculating. Then we came to assumed mean method. So in assumed mean method, what do we do? When you have, let's suppose, you will be assuming a middle value for your mean. So first you calculate the class mark for this frequency distribution. And now you see that amongst the class mark, you have 47 and 62. So one of the values you can select as the assumed mean. Okay, so let's suppose 47 is my assumed mean. So A becomes 47.5. This is my assumed mean. I'm assuming this is my answer. But what will I do? I will calculate what is the deviation of each class mark from your mean. So you calculate deviation. So the formula for deviation was you are going to subtract each class mark with the assumed mean. So like 17.5 minus 47.5, 32.5 minus 47.5, then 47.5 minus 47. So you calculate this deviation. Now you're going to find the product of frequency and deviation. Earlier we were finding the product of frequency with the class mark. Okay, but in the assumed mean method, you will first calculate deviation for each class mark and then you are going to calculate fi di. And then your answer shall be summation of fi di divided by summation of fi plus the assumed. Okay, that's your formula. See, summation of fi di divided by summation of fi plus the assumed. Right? These two steps are clear to you? Then we came to the third method, which was step deviation. So in step deviation method, what do we do? First, we were calculating, like you have this class interval. Now you have to calculate one more value, which is a h value. Now what is this h? That is basically class size. Okay, h is the class size. So for example, see you have the fi value, you have the xi value, you have the di value.
H is
Now, what do you say, Umair?
H is class size.
Class size. See, class size means, see, if you look at the class interval, like what is the difference in the upper value and the lower value? So what is the class interval? 10 and 25.
15.
So what is the difference between 10 and 25?
15.
Yeah, then 25 and 40? 15. 40 and 55? 15. 55 and 70? 15, and so on. So 15 is the class mark over here. I'm sorry, not class mark, class size over. So
So
now,
but what if the class size is different from each other?
what is the
Class size different, like the first one's class size and the second one class size.
no, see, that type of questions can also be there, but like this example, all the class size are of the similar value. Okay, when those type of questions will come, we'll do them also. Like last time, I remember you got confused when I mixed everything. So don't focus on this. Just focus upon one thing right now, which is when your class mark is same. Most of the questions are like this only in the syllabus. When class size is same. So like age value for all these things are same. Okay. So what happens when age value is same? This age is basically the class size. So what will you do with the help of this class size? You will calculate a new value which is u. Now what is this u? U will be basically this deviation divided by the class size. Right, so you get your u value and then afterwards you calculate fi into u. Now you look at the value. See, in the first method, in my direct method, I was finding fi into xi. In my second method, I calculated fi into di. Then in the third method, I was calculating fi ui. Right? So one more column you just keep on adding as you're doing different methods. So if in a question it is given to you that you find the mean by all the three methods. So you draw the entire table. First you draw the entire table, then you solve it step by step. All right?
Okay, yeah.
So now what was the formula for this? Do you remember the formula? This was the formula. You have an assumed mean plus high. Now what is this H? The class size basically. Sigma FIUI divided by sigma F. Right? Now okay, now these are some of the important points. Like when do you have to use the step deviation method? So step deviation method is convenient if all the D's have a common factor. So what are the D's? D was deviation. So if you look at the deviation, see what are your deviation 30, 50, 15, 30 and 45. Right? So here all the D's have a common factor you see. The common factor is 15. Isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. See the type of question where class size is different for all the one. For example, here it is 15. Now let's suppose a situation where it is not 15 over here. It is some other value. And here also it's some other value. Here also it's some other, let's suppose here it is 16, here it's 17, here it's 14, here it's 13, here it's 12. Let's suppose. I know it is 15 for all the cases, but let's suppose a situation where the class size is different for all the values. Okay, now what you're going to do? Now how do you calculate this u value? Because now you don't have a fixed age. So we discussed this one method in the last class when I was teaching you this, that we take a common factor for all the deviations. See, you look at the deviations. Now you don't have to calculate age by looking at these values. Right, what you will do, you will look at these values. You will look at all the deviations. So my deviations are 30, 15, 15, 30 and 40. Do they all come in a single table? Are they all divisible by a single number? See, all of them are divisible by the same. They have a common factor. What is the common factor?
15.
15 only. So now you're going to look at the common factor and then calculate your answer. Do you understand this?
Yes, ma'am.
See, most of the time in your syllabus, I don't think any question is there where this class size is different. But still, in case if the class size is different to you, then what do you have to do? How do you calculate this H value? You look at the deviation, then you calculate the, you just, by looking at them, you can easily see that what common factors do they have, and then you calculate, right? So step derivation method we'll be using if all the D's will be having a common factor. Then, okay, this is not very important. You can look at this one. You can do one thing now, you can practice fourth question right now on your own notes. Okay. And you find the mean by using all the three methods, so that you can quickly revise all the three methods once. Okay, first you have the first column, second column, then your third column will be of class interval, right?
Yes.
Xi value. Then you calculate Fi xi, then you calculate Di value, then you calculate Fi Di, then you go Ui, then you calculate Fi, right? And then you can solve the entire thing. So quickly do it, and then we'll discuss this. Umair, at any point, if you find difficulty, if you're stuck, you can ask me from that point onwards only. Okay.
Okay.
Have you copied the table, Umair? Can I remove the screen? Please tell me.
Huh?
Have you copied the table? Can I remove the screen? Umair, please respond.
Until XIFI I finished one.
Yeah, please tell me, can I remove the screen?
Yeah,
You don't want
no
to see the
problem.
question now. Okay. Okay. Umair, have you completed the question?
Completed the graph.
You're on the.
I completed the graph.
Okay, can we do one thing? Can we now start discussing the question? Then you can keep on solving.
Okay.
Okay, so first of all, you will calculate the xi value. So what will be the xi values?
66.5.
Okay,
69.5.
okay,
72.5.
yes.
75.5.
Next,
78.5.
correct.
81.5. And 84.5.
85, no, okay, 84.5, correct.
Yeah.
Then we come to, see, now I told you to do by all the three methods, right? So we can make one more column, fi, xi value. So for direct mean, we need this column. So tell me the fi, xi values now.
133.
First, you will multiply all of this. So 66.5 into 2 you have, right? So you get 10, 13,
133.
133. Okay, next.
278.
Okay, next.
217.5.
Okay, next.
217.5. No, ma'am. The
Okay,
third
this
one
one.
is yeah,
Yeah, next.
it's 104.
104. Next.
It's 104.
604. Okay,
549.5.
okay.
326.
Then,
169.
okay, now you stop here. Now you don't go for further method. Now, just look at one thing, Umer. In this type of question, why did I tell you to do first all the three methods? Okay, at least make the table for all the three methods. Now, if you look very carefully, Umer, I had to do a lot of calculations to find FIXI, right? Finding xi
Yes.
was easy because I could like directly use common sense and write, okay, like between 65 and 68, I will get 66.5 because plus 1.5 and minus 1.5. So calculating xi, I did not have to do any calculation. But now calculating FIXI, I had to do a lot of calculation, right? So what does this tell you? This thing is telling you that do not do the direct mean method. Direct mean method is not suitable for this type of question. Whenever you have greater values for xi, or you have complex values, like you have decimals, you have greater values. So you don't go for direct mean method. You want to reduce your calculations. So instead, what you can do, can I calculate the DI value? What was the DI value?
DI value -9.
No, first tell me what was DI. DI was the deviation.
Deviation was 75.5.
Deviation from the middle value. So middle value is here 75.5. So to
Yes.
calculate deviation, I can calculate deviation very easily because I have to subtract. Right. So I will subtract like 66.5 minus 75.5. What do I get?
Yes. It's -9.
Yeah, I get -9. Then 69.5 minus 75.5.
-6.
-6. Then here,
-3.
-3. Then 0 plus 3 plus 6 and plus 9.
Yes.
Right. Now you see, is it easier to calculate DI value or FI XI value?
DI value.
DI value, obviously. So what is this telling you? That whenever you have greater values, you go for either step deviation method or assumed mean method. Right. That is the reason that I told you that first you also do this direct mean method, so that now you know when to use direct method and when to not use direct. When you see that calculation is very complex, don't go for direct. Right. So we will not do the direct method. My answer can come by the direct method also. But it's just I want to reduce my calculations. I want to save my time. Now what do we have? Now when are we going to do the assumed mean method, and when is it easier to do the step deviation method? So I told you, you go for step deviation methods when you see that DI value has some common factor. So again, can you see there is some common factor for all the DI values?
Yes, ma'am.
What is that?
3.
3. So you divide all these values with 3. What do you get? You get -3, -2, -1, 0, +1, +2, +3. Now I again simplified it. See, first I simplified this xi value. Now I further simplified this di value. Now, is it very easy to multiply fi ui? First, I had to multiply fi xi, right? That was a difficult step. So what did I do? I tried to reduce my calculation. So to reduce my calculation, see, first I reduced xi to di, then I'm reducing di to u. Are you able to understand the concept now behind all the three different types of methods? Why are the different types of methods being developed? What is the concept behind them?
Yes.
Okay. So now is it easier to calculate FIUI value? See, 2 into 3 gives you -6, -8, -3, 0, +7, +8, 6. Without any much calculations, I was very easily able to do this. Now, what was my formula for assumed direct step deviation method?
A plus H in brackets FI UI by FI.
A plus H summation of FIUI divided by summation of FI. Okay, so that means I need summation of these values. I need summation of FIUI. So let's calculate the total. So what is the summation of FI? Calculate all these values. You add 7 plus 3 gives you 10, 20, 24, 28 and 30. Right? So you write 30 over here. Now calculate this value. See, -6 and +6 cancels out. Right? +7 and +8 and -8 also cancels out. Now you have +7 and -3. That gives you 4. So what is summation of FIUI? 4.
4.
See, now this was also easier to calculate. Summation of FIXI was again a very difficult job to do. If you look carefully, finding FIXI was one task, then finding summation of such large numbers was another task. And when you have very huge numbers, it becomes you become very prone of making mistakes. So now you come to this. Now, what was the assumed mean? The assumed mean was 75.5. So we have the formula 75.5 plus, what was this class size? 3 into 4 by 30. So you have 10. So 75.5 plus 0.4. Okay, so 75.6 is your answer. You understand this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now you remember that which kind of method you have to solve in which type of questions?
Yes.
Okay. Now we come to the next question. Now you have this question with you. Question number 3. This is an important question. Now this question says, the following distribution shows the daily pocket allowance of children of locality. The mean pocket allowance is 18. So mean is given to you. and this x value is given to you and f value is given to you, but one of the f frequencies is missing. So you have to calculate this missing frequency. So how will you be able to do this? See, can I calculate first of all class mom? Xi value can I calculate? So for 11 and 13, the middle value is 12, then 14, then 16, then 18, then 20, 22, 21. Now look very carefully and tell me, can I use the direct method here? Do I have very big values or do I have small values? Easy to understand. Right? We can use the direct mean method. So I will use the direct mean method. I calculate Fi Xi also. So see, this was Fi. So what do I have? 84. Then you multiply this. Eighteen into 13 you do. 234. Then this value is 20f. 96. Okay, now what I will do? I will calculate summation of Fi, which is equal to 7 plus 13 is 20. 20 plus, so 26. 9 plus 9 is 18. 26 plus 18. 44 plus f is your sigma summation Fi. Now you calculate summation Fi Xi. Okay, so you add all these values. You get, this was 84, 84 only. Okay, so 6, 10, 14, 18, 22. Okay, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 19, 25, 3, 4, 6. Hopefully we should get 652 only. No, this also 752 plus 20f. Okay, now what you will do? You will calculate your answer as 18 is equals to 752 plus 20f divided by 44 plus f. Okay, this will be your formula and then you can calculate your answer. So tell me, do you understand this method?
Yes, ma'am.
What did I do? I am just, see, my mean is directly given to me. Mean is 18, that's given to me already. So I will follow the same method of calculating the mean, and then I will just keep on putting the value of f as it is. And finally, in my equation, I will find the value of f. Right? So do you understand this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can you do it now or you want time to do it right now or can you do it after the class? If you want, you can take a screenshot. In case you forget how to do it. Now, we come to the next question. We have 9 questions in. Now we have this frequency distribution. Now look at this frequency distribution. You have 50 and 52. From 50 to 52. Now here the distribution is starting, the next number starts from 53 to 55. Then the next one is starting from 56 to, so it is exclusive distribution. It is not inclusive. There are two kinds of distribution. You have inclusive, you have exclusive. So inclusive means like this type of distribution is known as inclusive, where this term and this term matches. See, this term and this term matches. They are all inclusive kind. But when these terms are not matching, then it is exclusive type of distribution, so you don't have to do much. You just have to see. If I subtract 0.5 and add 0.5, what do I? If I subtract 0.5 from 50, what do I get? 49.5. And if I add 0.5 to 52, what do I get? 52.5. Right. Similarly, if I subtract 0.5 from 53, what do I get? 52.5. If I add 0.5 to 55, what do I get? 55. Again, you subtract 0.5, you get 55.5 to 58.5. Here you subtract 58.5, here you add 61.5. Here you subtract 61.5, here you add 64.5. So you just have to subtract from the lower term and add that number to the upper term. Okay, you can take any value. You can take 1, you can take 0.5. It's better you take 0.5 because 0.5 is the least number that you should subtract. So now you have this new class interval with you. Okay, now with the help of this, like you calculate the middle value of 49.5 and 52.5. And then you can calculate xi value. And then again, you calculate your answer by any of the following method that you find is easy. So tell me, do you understand this? Do you understand this or not, Umer?
Yes, I understand.
Okay, let me see if there is any other type of question or not. So most of the questions are of similar type only. So right now you can practice this question. Please practice question 5 right now in the class. Matt, are you able to do?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you able to solve the question?
Yes.
Okay.
Ma'am, 55 is the answer.
Yes, so guys, please just give me one. Okay, then we'll discuss. Okay. So we have. What's your answer?
50. 55
15.
is the answer.
55. No, Matt, 55 is not the correct answer. Which method did you use?
Assume to me.
Assumed mean method. Okay, let's check. No problem. So we have, first of all, class interval is given 49.5, 52.5, 52.5 to 55.5. Okay. Then next is 61.5.
55.1 is the answer.
50?
5.1.
No, that's also not the answer. We'll check. No problem. Where? Look here. We have 61.5. 0.5 to 64. Okay. So what are the Fi values? What is the middle value for this? Tell me.
The value is 51.
Yeah, 51, 53, no, 54, then 57, 60, and 63. Okay, now you have, okay, Fi I did not write down. This is Xi. What is Fi? 15, 110, 135, 115, 20. Okay, now you are using the assume mean method. So, which of the Xi value did you assume as mean? 57. So, what is the deviation? 51 minus 57 gives you minus 6. Then you have minus 3, 0, plus 3. Yeah, plus 3 and plus 6. You got Di as same. You got the same Di. Please tell me, man.
Calculation in the Excel.
What are you saying?
My calculation was wrong in the XI.
Okay, you calculated xi wrong. See, the xi you can calculate. You add 52.5 plus 49.5. First of all, you do this. So instead of it, can I write 52 plus 50? So this gives me 102. On adding this, you get 102.
Yes.
Okay. So now, see, 102 divided by 2 again. This gives you 51. You calculate the first value. Now, the first value you get, what is the relation? The first value is like 51. So, where is 51 lying? The last digit is 52. So, one number before 52. So, it's 51. So, again, the next value 55.5. So, one number below 55.5 will be 54. So, next will be obviously 54 according to the pattern. The next 58.5. So, the xi value should be 57. It is 61.5. So, xi value should be 60. 64.5. The xi value should be 60. You don't have to calculate the entire thing. You calculate for the first one and look for the pattern in the figure. It can be any pattern. Like in this one, the specific pattern is one number below the given upper class number. Okay. Then also, see, you should do step deviation method. You'll get your answer assuming method also, but step deviation would be an easier method. Why? Because you can reduce this di further to ui. This becomes -2. This becomes -1, 0. H I'm taking as 3. Divide all the values with 3. This becomes +1. This becomes +2. Now I calculate fi ui. This becomes -30, -110, 0, 115, and 50. Okay, you calculate summation of fi ui. Calculate summation of fi. Okay, and then you calculate your answer. So, like 50 minus 30 will give you 20. 115 minus 110 shall give you +5. So answer is 25 for here. And here you get 5, 10, 15, 20.
20.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4. 400. So what's your answer now? Assumed mean is equals to assumed mean. What was the assumed mean? 57 plus height, which was 3 into 25 by 400. Right? So you have 57 plus, you calculate this value, 5 into 5 times, 80 times, 16 times, so 3 by 16. So you'll get 57 point something as your answer.